Hi, everyone. This is Roger Strukhoff, Conference Chair of Cloud Expo, and I'm joined today by.
This is Andy Mann from Splunk, the tech chair of the DevOps Summit. Hey, Roger.
Cool. I'm in Chicago. Andy's somewhere out in Colorado, I think, near Splunk. He's getting ready for the big Splunk conference next week. But we are getting ready for Cloud Expo, which is going to be November 11 and 12. Did I get that date right? Let me double check because I've been known to make mistakes, but I think it's November 11 and 12. No, November 12 and 13. The 11th is a Sunday. I knew I did something wrong. November 12 and 13 in New York City. We're going to do it again, Cloud Expo. This time we're going to talk about cloud native, which is kind of it's interesting, Andy. We have a track, combined track called Cloud Native and Serverless. And it's like Cloud Native is where we're going, but serverless is where we're going to be going. Or what's your take on that? Cloud Native, and how big is serverless right now?
Hey, look, I mean, we've got a bunch of stuff on serverless. I think cloud native is leading to serverless. It's all going to happen all at once, Roger. You know, my thesis is we don't stop doing anything. So, everyone who's coming along, you're going to learn about cloud native. You're going to learn about serverless. You're going to learn about DevOps. You're going to learn about public cloud, private cloud, because ultimately everyone's going to use it all.
That's it. It's like don't stop and wait, because this stuff is happening. And years ago we were saying all the world is a hybrid cloud. I mean, because it just didn't seem reasonable that any large enterprise or even a smaller enterprise would just go, okay, this is the only thing we're doing. I mean, there are companies that go all in, I understand that, but most enterprises are like, well, we've got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We've got a strategy that integrates a lot of different clouds, and that seems to be where we're at right now. And also with that, and again with Splunk, give me the idea from Splunk. You can't do anything today without AI, as I understand it. Any sort of new deployment, new software that's going to be imbued with AI, whether it's Watson, whether it's TensorFlow, whether it's any other number of ways of approaching it. Is that your experience?
Yeah, look, I'm really excited about all of the content we've got around data. Data is the new oxygen, it's the new lifeblood, it's the new oil, it's the new everything, right? But data flows into things like machine learning. We're hearing a lot about how machines are going to help IT operations. They're going to help development to do things better. We're hearing a lot about things like AI, like you said, artificial intelligence, AI for operations, AI for dev, AI for business. This is all about data, Roger. So I'm excited about all of the big data content that we've got, including all of the ML, the AI, the algorithmic processing. I think that's going to be amazing stuff, because this is all fresh and new, right? There's a lot of learning to be done. We've got some killer experts who are going to come and help us learn about this stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it took me a little while to get up to speed on the AI, because I'm old enough. I was around during the previous wave in the late 80s, which was actually the second wave. And at that point, there was kind of like this brute force idea to replicate the human brain or something like that. This wave, it seems like, along with the entire industry, things are a lot more agile, and they move a lot faster, and they're focused. I mean, my favorite AI thing that I've seen recently is this idea of looking at cancer diagnoses, images. So a radiologist looks at an image, okay. These people have come together, and this thing looks at 10,000 images in 90 minutes. And it comes to the same conclusion 99.5% of the time as the radiologist. So that's not replacing doctors. What that is doing is enabling them to do their job. I mean, to me, in a way, it's like a calculator or a spreadsheet for this type of job. It does a lot of the grunt work in a real smart sort of way, and I think there's a lot of focused stuff like that. It's going on with, look what's going on with jet engines, all the telemetry and all the real-time analytics that are being collected. So I'm excited about that too. Let me make sure I don't miss any tracks. We of course have a track on the API enterprise, and we include mobility and security in there. Tell me a little bit about the importance of APIs, because without working APIs, this stuff doesn't work.
Yeah, look, Roger, the API is the lingua franca of IT today, right?
Yeah.
You can't create cloud native applications. You can't go serverless. things like containerization and microservice architectures all depend on well-constructed and well-documented APIs. And these are the building blocks of modern IT. So when we talk about composable enterprise, being able to move and reuse those building blocks, the microservice style, and like you, Roger, I'm old enough to remember SOA. And
Yeah.
I think we're doing it right now with APIs. And so again, this is absolutely fundamental ideas on how is IT going to look over the next 5, 10, 15 years. And that's why, certainly learning about the APIs, having that API track is absolutely essential for any modern technologist.
And we're going to have FinTrack. We're going to talk about smart cities, which is something I like to talk about a lot. All of the things that are going on to sort of solve the big problems that we have in a world of 7.5 billion people and trying to get everybody economically a little better off. So we're going to be talking about that. And let me see what I've forgotten. Not really much, except the big thing that I wanted to talk to you about, which was DevOps, and how this seems to me like it all comes together in DevOps. This is, you can't waterfall this stuff, and you can't just kind of fall asleep and see what happens down the road. This is not a quarterly reporting sort of mechanism, or even a daily reporting mechanism. So you live in the world of DevOps. Tell me about what's going on in New York and kind of what your world is like.
So we've been focusing on the DevOps track a lot on what is sort of DevOps Day 2, the next big thing in DevOps. It's not just about Dev and Ops working together anymore, right? We're seeing the rise of the site reliability engineer, the SRE. We're seeing a new way of bringing in other teams. So we're looking at DevSecOps. We're looking at QA as part of that DevOps lifecycle. We've got some great presenters who are talking about these things, talking about how do you shift left on security? How do you shift left on QA? We're talking about things like CAMs for quality assurance teams. So the culture, the automation, the measurement, the sharing of a QA team as part of that end-to-end software delivery lifecycle. And of course, we're talking about these new approaches to new IT. So the site reliability engineer, the ideas of SLOs, of using data, of running your system based on metrics, of high cardinality data sets. These are advanced DevOps topics. Don't come along thinking that you're going to sit around and sing Kumbaya on this one. This is real learning about the technology, the cultural change, the organizational change that goes into, like you say, moving away from those old and busted techniques, the waterfall techniques, adapting agile, adopting DevOps, that real collaboration through technology, through culture, through communication across all of this. This is going to be an amazing set of learning for anyone interested in DevOps or anything in between.
Yeah, it's interesting. Recently, I've been talking to and reading a lot of stuff from young operations people, and what the interesting thing is that operations people are born, not made. I think they're the same people that were young 30 and 40 years ago. But what's happened is that, the early day of DevOps, the developers loved it. Sure, we'll go real fast and we'll break stuff and we'll throw it over the wall. And the operations people maybe resisted. But now, with all these multi-cloud strategies, with operations people have figured out they're not going to get replaced. Cloud computing is not simple. Cloud computing is not easy. Yes, it's very fast. You can spin things up, but actually managing it is just as difficult as anything. So what I've seen is operations people pushing back now, or calling the bluff of of the developers, saying, okay, we need this, we need this, we need this. So you talk about the culture. It looks like for the first time after many years, everyone's at the same speed now, and not singing Kumbaya, but almost challenging each other now. Where in the past I kind of saw like DevOps pulling. Now it seems like it's come together.
Yeah, for sure. I'm seeing so much in that, the movement of traditional sysadmins or data center operations, whatever you want to call those traditional roles, moving into engineering roles, DevOps engineer, site reliability engineer, cloud engineer, these sorts of titles where engineering, coding, is actually becoming part of that role. And we're going to explore that a little bit in our SRE sessions, looking at what that means for a modern, because I'm seeing the same thing, Roger. I saw originally developers doing things for themselves. You know, the ideas of self-service around automation, around provisioning, configuration, was so developers could run fast and, you know, go fast and break things, right? The old line.
Right.
But now I'm seeing a lot more operations starting to take ownership of, you know, how do I help you do that? How do I, I'm not going to fix your problems, but I'll help you fix your own problems. You know, these sorts of changes in culture, fostered by new technologies as well, especially, as I said before, data is going to be a real game changer for that DevOps movement, I think.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of great content right in the middle of that.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of the operations people go, move fast and don't break things. Stop breaking things. But that's the cultural thing, and it's an integration going on. So we've made a little mention of some of our speakers. I won't go through them now because we've got like 150 rock stars coming here. I've done some podcasts about some of them, but what you want to do, go to www.cloudcomputingexpo.com. Everything is there. The tracks are there. The speakers are there. The topics are there. The dates, November 12th and 13th in New York, are there. So I encourage everyone to go there, sign up. Looking forward to seeing everybody in New York. Andi, thanks so much for joining us today. And buddy, we'll see you in a few months too.
Yeah, thanks, I'll see you there. I'm excited for it all. Thanks, all Roger.
Right, see
everyone in New York.